Welcome back. You're watching Gunning for Growth as a part of our special budget programming. Is there realistically a budget that's going to deliver for this country what it needs right now? We've been talking about how the country is enveloped in negative energies. Is that going to have an impact? Should that really be the driving factor why the budget should truly deliver? B.S. Nagesh.
Well, I think positivity has to be brought in. Okay, it always starts with the sentiment. We have no options. We have to continue with growth. Just be cautious about the Aam Aadmi and the social sector. Don't make this country a lazy country. This country is going to be the working force of the world in the next 10 to 15 years. So if you don't bring in that instinct of say, hey guys, you need to work to make money, I think we could be in trouble 15 years down the line.
Is it time for that dream budget story to repeat itself? I mean, 15 years, we've been talking about the 1991 story till today. What will we talk about 15 years hence?
Well, let me put it this way, that I believe with the interactions that I've had and what I have read and seen, that the people who are running the finance ministry, from minister to secretaries and everyone else, are very knowledgeable, very smart, very intelligent people. There's nothing that we are saying here that's not known to them.
True.
It's a question of how well they can convert what they know into what they say in the budget. Whether it's a budget being given by the CEO of a company, the company being the India Incorporated, or is it a politician budget or a populist budget is what will distinguish. If the budget is made with a clear view that we know what we need to do and we're going to do it, then it's a very good budget.
Gunning for growth, Shivinder Mohan Singh, well, if that's what the finance minister needs to do today, what in your assessment does he need to deliver on?
I think one of the things that we've talked about very often is the fact that we need to get more FDI into the country. We need to get more investments into the country. That'll create more employment, better opportunities, more sustainable growth going forward. And the other again is a long-term solution, but it has to be in the area of agriculture. We need to address the fact that 35-40% of our produce gets lost, wasted, and as a country we're too large, we're too many people, we cannot afford a 40% wastage in our produce, and we need to find not only quick but long-term fixes in this space that will address inflation and will certainly address our growth and our per capita as an economy.
B.S. Nagesh, you know, agriculture in the current GDP, the latest figures has suggested a 5.6% growth. I mean, that certainly tells us a screaming story that agriculture is beginning to do well. And on the other hand, we've got this story about inflation. So one wonders that if agriculture is actually doing well, where is the productivity issue? So there isn't a productivity issue, there's actually a supply chain issue. What do you think the FM is going to do to talk on agriculture specifically this time?
I think if you look at the production side of it, I think one should continue to give the current impetus because you've seen growth there. On the consumption side of it, you are seeing growth there. So I think the issue is the pipeline. So somewhere either the pipeline is choked or it's bursting with holes all over the place. If we can reach, and like Shivinder said, the wastages can be brought down through supply chain and through the front-end retail, agriculture produce will finally reach the consumer and not at the prices that we're talking of. It will be much lower.
The third leg of this is infrastructure, Mr. Gulabchand. There's concern that banks are actually now shying from giving out loans or money to the sector because they are not able to keep up with the execution delays and there's an asset liability mismatch.
You have been using the word execution delays. I don't think execution delays as such exist. New projects are not coming on stream, and due to high interest rate costs, the financial closures of projects are finding it difficulty, because then you are not, any financial closure on a public-private partnership project is very delicately balanced. Any ingredient changes in that, it destroys the returns that it creates.
Right.
And therefore, what we are finding now is a reluctance to invest because you don't know if the projects are coming. Is the growth rate likely to be maintained? Would the interest rate destroy the entire viability of the project as you go along? So any moment, any kind of uncertainty, fear that this would happen, apprehensions come in, investment stalls.
Are scams one of the reasons why this could also take another sort of dark cloud over various investments?
Certainly, that has an important effect on decision-making processes. But this is easily addressed by creating transparent procurement processes.
Dr. Goenka, how would you react to that?
I think right now clearly there are the whole scam and other issues that are coming up, and the budget has to signal that yes, there is seriousness about moving away from that, moving away from corruption, the scams that are happening. I do not know what will be done for that, but I think it's a very important factor that will influence the budget, hopefully not in a negative manner, but in a positive manner.
And to use a word you used earlier, confidence is what needs to come back. Shivinder Mohan Singh, we know that even a budget is a process where you've got to just meet the two ends. In this case, it's going to be political versus economic. Do you think there are some elements that might satisfy you and you're willing to say, yes, this is a decent budget if just a few things certainly come through? What would those few things be?
Well, I think clearly the one peg that we need to go from an emerging to a developed economy is infrastructure. So the first thing that I would say is an economy, we need to focus on infrastructure. So whatever $500 billion, $1 trillion that we need to spend over the next 5 to 7 years, to get that allocated appropriately and make sure the spend actually happens on the surface and not into all the scams that we've talked about, would be my first priority as a country.
Okay, I can see everybody has got scams on their mind and they want to get rid of that to focus on real stuff. Closing comments from you. You think one good thing that the FM can really do and that'll work for you?
I'm imagining the top management of this nation standing with hand in hand and say, hey guys, we will do it.
That's too optimistic, you think, Dr. Gupta?
I agree that it's needed. If the top management of the country come together hand in hand and say, yes, we can do it, that there's no doubt about. Will it happen? I doubt it.
And you'll be more cynical?
No, I'm not being cynical. I would be very grateful if he can just change the sentiment.
Okay,
And
great.
he knows how to do it.
Right. On that note, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Shivinder from Delhi, and thank you all for being with us here in the studio. Well, everybody wants a change of sentiment, and will that need a change of heart at the center of the government? Yes, possibly. The FM will have to carry a little more than just the papers in that briefcase of his. Thanks so much for joining us for this pre-budget discussion on ET Now.